explain to us, what is the business model of a company?
So that's what is our business model. We are the manufacturers of the hearing aids also. We manufacture hearing aids in India, make in India.
Transaction, because how does the final customer get the product? How does it work?
So as of today, the final customer gets the product from an audiologist who is
Okay.
practicing, which are just about 6,500 in India.
Okay.
And what we are changing here is we are reaching out to the ENT doctors, which are 15,000 in number, and we expect over a period of time.
Welcome, friends. My name is Avinash Gorakshakar, and I welcome all of you to another interesting episode of Konexio HighFlyers. Friends, in these episodes, we introduce you emerging companies from emerging sectors, and we make it a point to talk to the promoters, the top managements of such companies, so that we can understand these companies in a much better way as regards their business model, their growth journey, their future growth plans. And in this process, we get a lot of valuable information from the company's promoters and top management. And all this helps our investors to take a very conscious investment call when they invest in such companies. And friends, today we are going to talk about a very interesting company which is going to hit the capital market very soon. The company's name is Earkart Limited, and I have the privilege of having the promoter and managing director, Mr. Rohit Misra.
Thank you for bringing me in, sir.
So Rohit, it's a pleasure for me to host you, and I'm quite sure that in this small interview today, we'll be able to understand your company's operations in a much better way.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the first question, which is very elementary, I think we ask all the promoters, if you could explain to us, what is the business model of a company? What is our positioning in the domestic market? And very briefly, Rohit ji, if you could tell us, something about your business journey. How did you start on this business? Whether it is a first generation business or whether your father started it and then you took over. So if you could please tell us, that would really be, enlightening for us. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll start the answers from the reverse order. I'm the first generation businessman in the family, and I became businessman just about 4 years ago. On 10th of October, the company will be completing it for 4 years. So yeah, all people in the family are from the service background. And I myself, having spent about 30 years working for somebody else, I decided to quit and decided to start my own venture. And
Yeah.
the reason had been the frustration. So I joined hearing industry myself in 2007 as the managing director of one of the biggest countries in the world making hearing aids, an American company. I was their managing director for 15 years. And when I joined, sir, India may 60% people did not have access to an audiologist. Now, the audiologist is somebody who is qualified, trained, and authorized to diagnose hearing loss and fit a hearing aid. So in 2007, 60% of the country, 60% of the country did not have access to an audiologist. Now, fast forward this into 2021, nothing changed. It remained 60%, actually a little more. And that was a frustration that having spent so much time in the industry, having all the resources, all the availabilities of funds and managements, we did not do anything to expand the footprints or to reach out to people who are deprived of this. And when nothing was working out, I myself thought, why not I do some solutions myself instead of depending on somebody else to work it out? And the shortage of audiologists is not because there are less audiologists in the country. The country produces about 2,200 audiologists every year, but as of today, we have just about 6,500 practicing audiologists. Why is it the situation? Because they move to other countries outside every year. And why do other countries take audiologists from India? Because they themselves have shortage.
Okay.
The subject is the same problem remains. The solution was that we have to make the availability of the audiological services in the remotest part of the country. Now, if somebody who lives in Maharashtra, he knows Bombay, Pune, Nasik, Nagpur, everybody, you will have audiologists, yes. But what about Dhulia? What about Dhule? Sangamner? You don't get audiologists, but these are good, important economies who are contributing to Maharashtra. So if somebody
Yeah.
is living in these cities, he will not have an access to the audiologist. So we invented a device.
Yeah.
We invented a device which can provide all audiological diagnostic tests all remotely, which means the audiologist will be sitting in the head office or any other place. The machine, the device that we call OMNI, is an invention of ours. We have applied for the patent way back in 2022 in April. Now, this device can perform the audiometric test, do the audiometric evaluation, and also do the programming of the hearing aid remotely. Abhi audiologist doesn't want to go to a smaller cities because the potentials are small. They don't have too much of prosperity in terms of revenue and money. So they want to work in the bigger cities. So we have kind of found the sweet spot, which means the audiologist can be working in Delhi or in Bombay or in Bangalore, but will be serving the patients in the remotest corners of the country. That's the beautiful solution. And now, with our model, one audiologist can largely control 5 clinics. So अभी हम कर क्या रहे हैं? This device Omni is being placed at the ENT doctor's clinic, and he has got patients coming who need hearing tests or hearing evaluation or different kind of diagnostics. We can do everything up.
Okay.
And if the patient needs a hearing aid, we can also do a remote trial and remote fitting,
Okay.
which means a full stack as a solution. तो अभी एक आदमी एक ऑडियोलॉजिस्ट 5 क्लिनिक देख सकता है. So we are now multiplying our efficiency factors so significantly, but reaching out to the all remote locations of the country. So we are not only making money, we are making a significant social impact on the society who is deprived of these services for decades. So that's what is our business model. We are the manufacturers of the hearing aids also. We manufacture hearing aids in India, make in India. We have got licenses like BIS, the Bureau of Indian Standards. We also have got CDSCO. We also have got ISO 13485. And every single license that you need to comply with the quality standards, high quality standards, we have that. We make hearing aids which are very feature rich. We can compare them with our international peers, the competition. But in terms of ability to afford, we will say that we are at a fraction. So, for example, a good device that costs about 1 lakh of rupees, the similar feature set, similar performance set, we can produce for about 25,000 rupees.
Okay.
Now, that's where the game changes. Abhi, India mein hearing aid is not taken as a high priority because one, it looks like a thing, oh, I'm wearing a hearing aid. We have started making some of the very swanky looking hearing aid. They don't look like hearing aid anymore. But we also have got very good features which do a great performance of the sound quality at a fractional price. So removing
Okay.
all obstacles that can be there to a patient's mind while making a journey of hearing aid purchase. अभी एक सबसे बड़ा तकलीफ का बात बताना चाहता हूँ. If somebody has got hearing loss and he's not wearing a hearing aid, there is a natural progression towards isolation, depression, dementia, higher chances of 25% higher chances of brain stroke and heart stroke, everything. All because they live in a constant stress situation, very excess secretion of cortisol that leads to all these complications. And everybody, if somebody has got hearing loss, do not delay your decision of wearing a hearing aid. Try to wear it as soon as possible because hearing loss never comes alone. It brings along depression and dementia and heart stroke and brain stroke and increased chances of diabetes. Always, 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 if you have hearing loss, wear a hearing aid. So we are solving that problem for the nation.
Yeah. No, I think very nicely mentioned by you, Rohit ji. I think very nice to hear that you have developed a new product. Plus, you also contribute to the social cause. So it's very nice to hear. Rohit ji, I believe we supply hearing aids to the government also in a big way. So is there any product differentiation? You mentioned that you got a product which is far less expensive but feature rich. So broadly, if you could tell us, what are the product categories? आपके जो SKUs है उसमें कौन से products है, from the lower end to the upper end? Like, if you can give me some idea about your product, kind of range within the hearing aids.
All right. Thank you very much for this question. Yes. So in India, you can differentiate the products in 4 broad categories. One which is analog. मतलब उसमें जो भी sound आया उसको फर्क नहीं पड़ता कौन सा sound आया. It treats every sound as sound और सारे sound amplify कर देता है. So for example, you and me are walking on a street. I am wearing a hearing aid. आपकी आवाज को उसने 50% amplify किया, साथ में ट्रक निकला उसका भी 50% amplify कर दिया.
Okay.
That becomes very difficult. But people who are living at home largely, they might still benefit from it. So we make those hearing aids for which people should be using them indoors largely and they will benefit. These
Okay.
hearing aids typically cost about 2,500 rupees.
Okay.
But the government will take hearing aids which are semi-digital or digital,
Okay.
which have got sound compression algorithms, which have got some filters. It also has got a clipping, which means a sound cannot go beyond a certain level of amplification. We also
Hmm.
have got programmable hearing aids, which are going in the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. It is going in armed forces for the usage of the armed personnel. So these are different hearing aids. We make all of them. So our product category starts from an MRP of about say 5,000, 6,000 rupees, going all the way up to a lakh. But when you compare these with any of the big multinational, they'll be starting from about 45,000 going up to 7 to 8 lakh rupees.
Okay. Fine.
So we're
Understood.
trying to make it affordable.
Okay. Rohit, typically, what's the kind of mix of government and private currently for our company, like roughly?
सर अगर रेवेन्यू वाइज देखें तो अबाउट 66-68% is government
Okay.
and 32 is private across sectors. And as we
Okay.
go forward, गवर्नमेंट का बिजनेस तो रेवेन्यू वाइज उतना ही रहने वाला है, बट क्योंकि प्राइवेट बढ़ रहा है बहुत तेजी से, when we started it was 95% government and 5% private. तो
Okay.
अभी गवर्नमेंट का कंट्रीब्यूशन थोड़ा सा कम हो जाएगा.
Okay. And in terms of pricing, Rohit ji, can we assume that the private's kind of segment offers a better pricing kind of degree of pricing power for you, because government obviously fixes a particular price and then you got to supply it based on the tender. So
Yes.
private, do you expect this pricing to be more remunerative? Because I think as you rightly said, the product quality is good, but the government obviously must be telling you that at a fixed price you got to give it to them in the tender. So pricing के point of view से private is better, right?
Pricing के adoption point of view से private is always better for two reasons sir. Because गवर्नमेंट के अंदर एक स्पेसिफिकेशन आता है, एक क्वांटिटी आती है, फिर आपको उसमें L1 होना पड़ता है.
Okay. Okay.
प्राइवेट के अंदर वो स्पेसिफिकेशन उतना मैटर नहीं करता. पेशेंट सेज कि ओ ये वाला हेयरिंग एड का ये वाला मॉडल मेरे को ज्यादा अच्छा लग रहा है.
Okay.
इट माइट बी इनसाइड द ईयर जो गवर्नमेंट नहीं लेती, जो कान के अंदर चली जाती.
Well,
इट माइट रिसीवर इन कैनाल जो गवर्नमेंट नहीं लेती. But private के अंदर patient might have different priorities and they will say, oh, I want to have this.
okay.
This
Yeah.
suits me better.
Okay. And just one thing, Rohit ji, which is I'm little inquisitive, is that on the private customer side, how is the product sold? Is it through a dealer network? Is it a B2B kind of transaction? Because how does the final customer get the product? How does it work?
So as of today, the final customer gets the product from an audiologist who is
Okay.
practicing, which are just about 6,500 in India.
Okay.
And what we are changing here is we are reaching out to the ENT doctors, which are 15,000 in number. And we expect over a period of time, like for example, by the time March 2026, we should be at 200 clinics. And next
Oh.
year, we have 500 clinics.
Okay.
And just because we'll be at 500, we'll be the biggest retail footprint in the country.
Okay. Okay.
So
Understood.
today अभी तो सिर्फ ऑडियोलॉजिस्ट या रिटेलर्स ही हियरिंग एड को फिट करते हैं,
Okay.
और वो बहुत लिमिटेड नंबर है.
Okay.
And that's the problem we are trying to solve with our solution.
Okay, no, understood. Rohit ji, now let's talk about the total addressable market, the TAM. You mentioned that in India, the availability of hearing aids is a big problem. Typically, even the audiologists. So, tell me one thing: in the next say 3 to 5 years, you have been, in this industry for a long time. What is the kind of opportunity available and the runway of growth available for us, and how do we plan to capitalize? One thing you mentioned is you want to increase the number of clinics from 200 to 500. But in terms of the opportunity size, how big can the Indian market be, and specifically in tier 2, tier 3 markets, in your own kind of assessment, if you could tell us.
Sir, as of today, the estimated Indian market size should be about $4.2 billion,
Okay.
which by 2030 should grow
Yeah.
to over $7 billion.
Okay.
Now, it's a huge market. And
Okay.
we are saying this is on the basis of the current reach the country has, which is only 40%. तो अभी basic estimation भी देखने गए, तो with 40%, the market potential is $4.2 billion going to $7.2 billion in 30 with only 40% penetration. We are going to go the untapped 60%, which is going to add to the potential here. So a huge blue sky for us.
Okay. Got it. Rohit ji, is this business, dependent on any sort of order book kind of system, or is it like, your relationship with all the doctor community? They obviously have the requirements, so they obviously approach you, and then your production is planned. How do you work out your production? And in short, what is the current install capacity, and how do we decide, that next month itna produce karna hai, agle saal itna target hai? How does the whole, volume, exercise work? Is it like you get inquiries from doctors, or is there an order book? Based on that, you work out your production schedule. How does it work?
Uh, about 70% is planned because there are government orders, there are defense sector orders, there are private party orders also, which sign an agreement with us on the annual basis. So
So,
70% is something which we already know will be
yeah.
required to be produced.
Okay.
30% is variable one, which is pretty much in
Okay.
control. As of today,
Okay.
we make about 1.25 lakh hearing aids a year,
Okay.
and we have a capacity of making 2.4 as of today, which will
Okay.
surely come up. And
Okay.
about the ENT doctors, this is one service that ENT wanted to have for years. अब से नहीं सर, 15 साल 20 साल से ENT always wanted an audiologist, जो होता
बिल्कुल.
नहीं है किसी के पास.
हाँ.
So we are able to provide every single audiologist with the audiology service. They wanted, they always wanted it. It was needed. Now it is there. Everybody now is welcoming us.
So, no, I think very nice to hear that.
Thank you.
Now, just wanted to understand, we'll keep the financials aside for some time. I wanted to know, sir, now you have been in this market for a long time, you understand this business very well. Sir, how do we add value to the customers? Ultimately, there must be a lot of repeat business which you get. Customers must be patronizing your products and services. Tell me one or two qualitative points which help us understand that you do a much better job according to you in the sector compared to others. That will help us understand you in a much better way.
Sure. Thank you. So first thing, hearing aid बड़ा subjective चीज है सर. चश्मे की तरह, unlike चश्मा, where somebody goes to a दुकान, wears a चश्मा, number आ गया 1.25, and he starts to see clearly, very
Yeah.
clearly. Unlike chashma, hearing aid is a very subjective proposition. For example, I am sitting in a room, I am hearing it very well, but the same hearing aid, I go out on the traffic, I'll find it difficult to hear.
Okay.
And I'll go to a restaurant, I'll find it impossible to hear with the same
Okay.
hearing aid.
Okay.
Now, I need regular programming which can help me hear in different circumstances. So, hearing aid wearing and using a hearing aid is a journey of at least 4 to 6 months.
Oh.
Most people do not get that hand holding in the journey, and most people stop using hearing aids because they are not satisfied with the outcome, and they say
Right.
बकवास है, पैसा डाला 50,000 रुपया, घर में काम
Hmm.
करता है, बाहर जहाँ पे जरूरत पड़ती है वहां काम नहीं करता.
Okay.
Our differentiation stands where if a person is not happy with the hearing aid, he instantly gets support online. उसको दुकान पे भी जाने का जरूरत नहीं है, उसको किसी के पास जाने का जरूरत नहीं. We can support him online and do reprogramming then and there.
Okay.
दैट्स द बिगेस्ट डिफरेंशिएटर. अगर पेशेंट खुश है यूज करते हुए तो वो 5
Hmm.
जगह बोलेगा कि इनसे लो. खुश नहीं है
Yeah.
यूज करते हुए, बोलेगा हेयरिंग एड ही मत लो तुम.
Okay. So this is very important. I think very practical information, Rohit ji, which you gave us, because this is very practical on ground kind of feedback. Like this is how the market actually works. I mean, on the hearing aids part.
I have lived this life for almost 20 years, sir. I know the patients who spend money are not happy sometimes because they don't get to hear what they want to hear and how they want to hear.
Correct. Okay. Fine. No, understood. Sir, now let's talk about the financials, Rohit ji. I think I was seeing the numbers, pretty good numbers. I think top line has total around 43 crores from 32 crores, and PAT is almost, if I'm not wrong, 6.88 crores from 3 crores. So very strong jump on the profitability side. Tell us one thing, sir. What was the key reason? Was it better volume growth, better pricing, better value-added mix? What was the key reason for this profit to double from 3 crores to almost 6 crores plus?
सर ऐसे देखते हैं ना तीन चीजें. वन is that when you have got numbers going up, your
Yeah.
ability to negotiate better prices from the supplier is definitely one part that we did. Now, a person who was working with us, he had a capacity of producing, say, 200 devices a day, but he was producing only 60 or 70.
Okay.
So the operational efficiency, which was a very significant outcome in our bottom line growth, is the key differentiator. So one definitely was our ability to negotiate better prices.
Okay.
Second, to have the operational efficiency. And third, the best part, we were able to get better prices from the market, including the government sector.
Okay.
Where we used to get X, we started to get X point 1.5, 15%, 12% के आसपास हमने एक्स्ट्रा पैसा लिया उसी डिवाइस का. And
Okay.
government applied, government gave us that money. So our negotiations, our operational efficiency, and better price outcome is the reason for the heavy growth.
Okay. No, no, understood. Rohit, now one related question from your answer now. I just want to understand for government orders, typically, once you get a tender, you supply to the government, the transaction is completed. By what time is the cash flow realized from the government side? Like how many months typically government takes to, actually give you the money for the services or the products given to them?
So in most government organizations, sir, what happens? You make a supply,
Ah,
government tests them on the parameters they have asked. They test every single device on the parameters of the tender, which is very, very unique. It is hats off to the government that they are not taking everything and anything that is supplied to them. So once it is approved by the government and the Department of Quality Control, then it goes towards the stores, and the stores sends the payment request. It takes about 45 to 60 days and sometimes
okay.
45 to 75 days. But
Okay.
payment cycle from the government is pretty solid, very robust.
So, no, no, I think nice to know that. So, the government is very, very conscious about, respecting the fact that, manufacturers have to be made payments on time. Now, Rohit ji, let's come to the most important question for today's interview. We are going public, so it's a personal achievement for you. Your hard work is getting reflected in, this IPO. So, tell us
Thank you.
what is the amount you plan to raise, and what are the broad objectives of raising this money?
Sir, we are raising about 49 crores from this IPO, and the broad objectives are very clear. We are going all out on the ENT model, which we call shop and shop model.
Okay.
We are going to place our diagnostic device OMNI at the place of the ENT doctors, which is a capital expenditure for us, and hiring of the audiologist and the sales team to grow the business. Right now, we are North India centric, and we are going to West and South very soon. So the biggest objective is to have 500 clinics by next year,
Okay.
and to become the biggest retail footprint of the country, and to be able to reach out to everybody who is in need of the hearing aid and hearing diagnostics while making a lot of business.
Okay. And just a little clarification, these 500 clinics will be our own clinics, right? We don't plan any franchisee model or any associate model. ये अपने खुद के रहेंगे ना?
Which will be completely owned and run by us.
Okay. So the staff also, which is going to run this clinics plus the clinic, the proper kind of property asset, that will all be coming under the umbrella of the company, right?
So the beauty of this model, sir, is we are taking a space in the clinic of the ENT doctors for which we are not paying any rental.
Okay. Okay.
We are using the staff at the ENT clinic to
Okay.
run our model, of course, against the meager incentive.
Yeah.
But the entire running of this device, Omni, is done by the audiologist who is sitting in our location.
Okay. Okay. So basically, just to clarify, it's an asset-light model. आप
Very asset
डॉक्टर
light.
या
पहला
डॉक्टर का
डायग्नोस्टिक हुआ
यूज कर, ठीक है.
पहला डायग्नोस्टिक हुआ इट्स बॉटम लाइन में जाके जुड़ जाता है वो. We have,
Yeah.
except for Omni, we have no investment.
Okay, understood. No, no, I think now it's very clear how you plan to ramp up the business. Rohit ji, now let's talk about the working capital part, which is a critical part in our business. See, we have been seeing that profitability has been very solid. Top line has been growing. The product has been, gaining a lot of acceptance both from private and government. But somehow, in our business, we have not been seeing positive cash flows. Somewhere the number is not positive. So, is it because a large part of the business is coming from government? Payment comes with a little bit of delay. Of course, it does come, but with a little bit of delay. So post the IPO, which we are planning to make, can we assume safely that cash flows will be better because we'll get upfront money for working capital?
Sir, if you see our last 3 years, we have significantly improved on our cash flow, the capital cycle. We have
Okay.
significantly improved. We have worked very solid on our operational efficiency, and it is definitely going to help us to build a faster cash flow management system with the
Okay.
IPO coming. But
Okay.
last 3 years has a testimonial that we have significantly improved every year.
Okay. No, no, understood. I think definitely, going forward, we are pretty confident that you will be able to, deliver this, and that will help the company. Rohit, just one question, which is, very elementary from the investor side. You have been the main person who's promoted this company. Tell me one thing now, currently, what is your functional role in the company? Is it getting more business, ramping up the expansion plans? Because obviously, you must be having a big team to support you. So currently, what is your main functional area in the company? What you do?
So my main functional area is to make sure that the business, which is a new stream, I think it's the first time in the world, and we don't have a precedence of this business. Though it's a very very asset light, investment light, and very remunerative from day one. I just want to make sure that this entire thing is executed perfectly. The entire thing starts to produce the numbers that we are looking in to justify the investors' intention, those who are making investments in us. I want to make sure that their returns and their money is not only safe, but it is growing with our performance. So my entire focus is now shifted towards one thing, that our previous investors and the new investors who will now come in, their money should be guarded and their money should be well remunerated. Their investment should be well remunerated.
Okay. No, understood. Rohit, last question for today. We have seen COVID, which was one of the worst scenarios in India and globally. In our business, Rohit, tell me one thing. You have been handling this business for a very long time. Typically, what is the most important risk in our business, and how have you managed to optimally manage this risk up till now?
The inventions, the necessity is the mother of invention, and COVID was actually one of the reasons why this company came into the play. The remote management, the remote diagnostic, the remote everything. COVID was actually one of the reasons, and I think it was a blessing in disguise for us to think in one direction to make sure that we do not become victim of things like COVID. But the only things which can hamper, which can at any point in time, like in any other business, government policies, which might change, if at all they change, but they will change for every player, not only for us. So the government policies are the only thing that can have some kind of impact on a business, both good and bad. But if
Yeah.
it is good, it will be for everyone. If it is bad, it will be for everyone. But the geopolitical did not really impact our business as much as we thought it will.
So fine. I think you're right in saying that the runway for growth, Rohit, is very large, and I think for a country like India, hearing aids, as you rightly pointed out, is a massive opportunity. And I think hopefully, with your leadership, we'll definitely be successful in covering a lot of ground going forward. So please accept my best wishes to you, your entire management team, and best wishes for your public issue also. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. Thank you for your time.